Hey yo, what is going on? What is good, guys? It is your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of When Persona Speaks podcast. Uh, it's kind of a personal podcast that I do from time to time, just to kind of go in depth with with my thoughts. Um, it's much more in depth, as you see in the description. It kind of, When Persona Speaks is a weekly series. It's not a weekly series anymore. It's kind of just a spur of the moment type of podcast, dedicated to speaking more in depth about all things gaming and the community that comes with it. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Like I said, it's not always, but when it does happen, it's always good. Yo, Key, what is going on? Key in the building. Put in my potato emote from Twitch. Hey, Key in the building. Miss Key, I definitely appreciate you coming through. Longtime supporter of Mog and Friends podcast, but also of the channel. Really do appreciate you coming through. Let me make sure I sound good. Miss Key, I definitely appreciate you. Yeah, it looks like we sound good. Let me know, Key, if the sounds are proper. But yeah, guys, I've sat back long enough. I've had quite a few things that I've kind of wanted to talk about. Most recently, definitely, Days Gone. Definitely, for sure, Days Gone. First impressions. Kind of talk about just open world games in general. Talk about the community when it comes to keeping that energy, and then sprinkle a little PS5 talk in there real quick, just a tad, just to kind of pick up off of a podcast that I was on. It was a council reunion for the Jay Barry show. I think that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, or something like that. But essentially, it's more or less, that's more or less what the show is going to be about. But with that being said, let's get into these Days Gone impressions, because I've watched a couple of people that I follow within the community. I've watched a couple of their impressions. I've read, even though I'm not one that follows reviews, so to speak, I'm definitely someone that, I'll read them. I'll definitely read them just to kind of see. I read the reviews because I like to see where the industry's head is at when it comes to these types of games, but also I like to be in the know with that stuff, so that you can kind of pick up on who's really full of shit when it comes to when you're talking to other gamers and stuff, and what they complain about, which we are going to get into in a minute, because I'm definitely seeing a lot of that. Yo, El Matador in the building. What is going on, bro? Appreciate you coming through. Big shout out to everybody here right now, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Big round of applause. I'm on a different setting on my OBS. I'm not even sure if that played. I hope it played. Let's play it again. There we go. It played. There we go. It might be a little loud, but yeah, I'm not on the normally I'm on the Mog and Friends settings on OBS, but I'm on When Persona Speaks, so those settings are kind of messed up. But yo, let's get into it. So, Days Gone. What is Days Gone? Days Gone came out April 26th, the same day as Avengers Endgame. I'm pretty sure those that are here right now did see Avengers Endgame. If you haven't, man, go see the movie. It is a good movie. I have my gripes, just like as a comic book reader, I have my gripes with the movie, but for what it is, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. So yeah, there's that. But in terms of Days Gone came out April 26th. That's a Friday for those that don't know, and it got, when it came out, it got slammed, man. We're gonna share the screen, y'all. For those that follow the channel, y'all know I love to share my screen, man. I live for that. So and everything that I talk about will come full circle to not interested. Will come full circle. So obviously, Days Gone came out Friday. The reviews came out. And right now Days Gone is sitting at a comfy 72 on Metacritic. Um, that I, I'll admit I'm a little surprised because I predicted it would have been like an 82 to like an 85. I didn't see it being like no 95 ish. Like I ain't gonna sit here and be that type of person. Like, oh yeah, Days Gone's a 95. No. I definitely predicted like an 82 to an 85. Just kind of keep your expectations in check. But I was a little surprised when I seen the 72. I was like, wow, 72, really? I'm really surprised because then I'm like, because then it had me thinking like, is Days Gone really that bad? Well, not bad. Hold on. Let me rephrase that because a 70 or 72, that isn't a bad score. That's an average. That's an okay score. But in the community, we look at anything below. Honestly, I think you look at anything below like an 85. Anything below an 80, matter of fact, just to kind of keep it kind of general, I think anything below an 80, the community tends to look at it as a flop or look at it as a bad game. So, in my head, when I seen the score, I'm like, Days Gone can't be that low. Are people really feeling that negatively about the game? So seeing that score made me want to play it even more because my experience is that most of the time when a game is like scored or reviewed low like this, within my experience, the game I tend to enjoy the game. What's another game that I played? Is it Neptuna? Oh yeah, look, Neptuna Goddesses Online. This is another game that I played back in 2017. It's a what is it? It's a Japanese game. And oftentimes, unless it's like a Square Enix, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, or something like that, that shit scared the hell out of me.
This world is an arena.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all guys, that scared the shit out of me. Most of the time, like a Japanese games or something like that, if it's not like a Final Fantasy or if it's not like a well-known like well-established Japanese franchise like Persona or something like that, most of the time you're gonna see scores like this. But this is an example of a game that reviewed low, a 71. Cyber Dimension Neptuna. I enjoyed the hell out of this game. I platinumed the game. It's a great game, and I could go on and on about different games that I've played that reviewed low but still were good games to me. And that just goes back to the saying that reviews shouldn't be end all be all when it comes to
Randy Watkins.
What we enjoy. So when I seen the scores, it made me want to play the game even more. So fast forward, because I went to go see Avengers Endgame that Friday night, whatever. And then I came home like 3-4 in the morning and I was going to play and I kind of started it up, but then I was like, yo, I'm mad tired. I got to go to bed. So I ended up not being able to play until like Saturday afternoon, whatever. So, I sit down, my expectations are in check. I'm like, yo, look, I'm excited because I've been hyped for Days Gone since it was shown. I've been really hyped. So, my expectations are in check, but also I'm still hyped for the game. So I sit down, I'm playing the game, and my initial reaction is, yo, this is dope. Like, it's a beautiful game. I love the game. The story definitely, the beginning definitely had me really, it had me paying attention. Sometimes at the beginning of games, like the very beginning, we don't really pay full attention just yet because nothing really captivates us. I feel like Days Gone goes the route of it is very Last of Us. If you didn't play Last of Us, at the very, very beginning of Last of Us, it cuts to Joel and his daughter, and there's an epidemic that's going on, and he's trying to get him and his daughter to safety. Him, his daughter, and I forgot the dude's name. I think his name is Sam or something like that. I could be wrong. It's his brother. It's his brother. And his daughter, spoiler for those that hasn't played Last of Us yet, but his daughter ends up getting shot and killed. And through that whole epidemic and through that whole scene, you're paying attention, and that's like from the gate. So that kind of pulls you in off rip. Days Gone kind of goes that same route where it's not as heavy of a scene like Last of Us in terms of people getting killed, like they show the daughter dying and him crying, and then it cuts to like 20 years later. Like they don't really go that heavy on it, but the scene that the setup that they do the setup that they do at the beginning of the game, it definitely does a good job of having you pay attention. And it's pretty clear cut that Boozer, that's his friend, and Sarah, that's his girlfriend or his wife or whatever the case may be, is someone that he really loves. And he's faced with a choice. His friend Boozer's hurt, and his wife or his girlfriend Sarah, she gets stabbed up. She's got like a stab wound. And, the chopper's about to get up out of there. So, he's like, yo, look, you got to get my wife on the chopper. You're like, yo, you got to take her. So he's like, I can only fit two of you. So, he's, immediately Deacon is faced with a choice, a difficult choice, really. Like, does he leave his best friend for his wife and just go, or, just let his wife go? And does he go with his wife? And, him being the person that he is, he decides to stay with Boozer and, help Boozer and them get to safety. So that's kind of the beginning setup, and that's what kind of pulls you in. And she's hurt or whatever. Then it cuts to like 2 years later or some time later, and Deacon is pretty much it's pretty much Sarah's dead, potentially. Like it's assumed that Sarah is dead, and they're dealing with this whole epidemic of freakers. Which, it's freakers are pretty much, they're not zombies, but I mean, I call them zombies, man, but they're freakers. They're freakers. And from what the developer's saying, these freakers are still alive. They're not dead. Like this is not the undead. They're still alive, but some type of airborne virus that, whatever epidemic happened is causing them to act very savagely. So, it really kind of pulls them, so that's kind of the setup. So when you go into, Barry in the building, what up? When you go into, shit, I lost my train of thought just now. Oh my God. When you go into the game, and, it kind of starts you off where you got to do like a, regular mission. Like, look guys, we gotta get some supplies. We got to get here. We got to do this and that, whatever. They kind of throw you in there right away. And I like that because it kind of, it's not really, the game's not really handholdish, especially not in the beginning. It's definitely, there's hints and stuff like that. And there's different survival hints and stuff like that they do a good job of explaining to you. But it's not very handholdish in the sense of, we're going to put you in this scene where you can't die and you can't, whatever. No, you kind of are out the gate having to figure out how to survive, which I like. I like that concept of it because, it kind of, well, not kind of, but it really does put the player, it really does do a good job of having the player immersed in the world. It really wants you to be, drawn into this world, which I like. Now, in terms of like the world itself, which matter of fact, no, I don't want to touch the world yet. Let's stay on Deacon and Boozer. So pretty much the premise, the beginning premise is, you're doing a mission, you're trying to get your fuel pump because you're chasing down this guy that did some foul stuff or whatever. So you kill this guy, but in the midst of you chasing him, your bike gets damaged. So with your bike being damaged, you have to go and find this part. It's a fuel pump. So when you find a fuel pump and you go back to your bike, come to find out your bike gets stolen. So that's the premise of why, your bike, that's the premise of the bike. Now, the premise of Boozer, which I like Boozer as a character in the beginning, but I began to like him a little bit. I don't want to say like him a little bit less, but he kind of, in the beginning, he's your partner, but I feel like as you get further in the game, Boozer kind of becomes almost like a crutch, almost. At least I felt so, just because, he's not going out with you on missions or nothing like that. He gets injured by Rippers. And it's the mission that we saw from, the E3 demo. He gets super injured by Rippers, and he kind of is just out of commission from there. And so a lot of what you're going to be doing is, doing different type of missions, trying to get him medicine and all these different things. And, that's kind of the premise with Boozer, at least for like the first like 6 hours of the game. Cause I'm at like the 9 hour, 10 hour mark, maybe 11 hours, give or take. But that's the premise of Boozer, at least from my perspective right now. Now, in terms of the bike, which I do want to get into. So the bike, think of the bike as you would Red Dead Redemption 2 horse. Like, you're not getting nowhere without the bike. Just today, I was doing a mission, and then I was trying to get to one of these Nero camps, which I'll explain in a minute. But I was trying to get to one of these Nero camps so I could get one of the upgrades, and it was, my bike ran out of gas, and I was like in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Luckily, it was daytime, but if it was nighttime, listen, it'd have been a whole different story. But in the midst of me searching around for gas, like, I had to go mad far to get gas to come back. And you would think that would be annoying, but I actually enjoyed it because it really does throw you into that survival aspect. Like, oh no, I gotta go out and get gas, and you gotta watch out for yourself and watch out for the freakers, and you gotta watch out for like the different enemy, the human enemies and stuff like that, which I ran into. I ran into like quite a few enemies while trying to get some gas, which was dope. And sneaking around and stuff. Like, I like that type of stuff. Like I'm always enjoying, like, that part of it. I'm really always enjoying. Like, I don't think I'll ever get bored with that. But with the bike, you would think that the bike is a hindrance, but it's really not, because the more things that you do for the camps, there's tons of gas laying around, fixing your bike and stuff like that. It doesn't, like, at least to me, I'm only speaking on my experience. I can't speak to nobody else's experiences. But for me, the bike itself doesn't really feel like a hassle. Like, I never felt like the bike was a hassle to me, honestly. No bullshit. Like, it felt fun, really. It really felt fun to kind of to have to deal with that. Like, it never felt like, oh my god, now I gotta go get gas again. Especially when you're trying to like run from a horde and you're trying to like hurry up and get on a bike or do whatever. I liked it. Like, that's something that I enjoyed. So I can't. Yo, Garuda, what's good, bro? So I don't really see any issue with that. Now, in terms of the bike itself, your bike is going to be pretty weak in the beginning. But I found that upgrading the bike really isn't that much of a hassle either. Just because, once you do a couple missions for Copeland, which is the first camp that you get to, it becomes like easier. Like, you definitely get more, you get more like gas and get more like, a better engine, better tires, better traction, all these different things. Like, as you upgrade the bike, the bike becomes pretty much more of a part of you than anything. And Vanny Pan in the building. Big shout out to Vanny Pan, and big shout out to Garuda in the building. Big shout out to those boys, man. Those are the day ones right there. Shout out to Bari as well. The day ones. But the bike doesn't really feel like it's a hassle to me, and I enjoy it. Like, my bike right now is upgraded pretty well, where I'm not running out of gas too often, But if you really in the thick of it, you will run out of gas. But I always, like, whenever I'm done with a mission or wherever I'm in like an area, I always check for gas just to make sure I can get some gas and fill up the bike, and my bike is always full. because especially after I ran out of gas that one time, I'm like, nah, I ain't trying to do it, go through that again. So I always make sure that my bike is filled up. And then at the camps themselves, you can fill up your bike, like, for not for free, but you got to pay some credits. But you get so much credits, from doing different missions for the camps and stuff like that, filling up your bike and repairing it, it really is nothing. Like, I'm no bullshit. It really is nothing. So I like the bike. The bike is cool. In terms of the camps, first off, the map, I thought, and this is where like Days Gone kind of threw me for a loop, because I thought that the map where like the first two towns, not towns, but the first two camps is Copeland's camp by Crystal Lake or something like that, and then there's Tucker's camp by Hot Springs, and one's like a real foresty area, and the other area is like a more desert type of area. I thought those were the only two areas in the game, because I'm like, yo, why we got all this map and I can't, in these only two, Days Gone through me for a loop, because I kept playing through the story, and then like the world really, like I had to look at the map again, because I remember seeing the map and I'm like, yo, I thought this map was huge, and so I'm like, yo, like, why I could only go to these two places, what's going on? But then I did a mission, actually not literally like an hour ago, I did a mission where I had to drive to the third camp, which is where Iron Mike is, and that world opened. I'm like, oh, this world's big. Like, no bull. Like, the map is probably, no exaggeration, the map is probably the size of Red Dead Redemption 2. Maybe. Let me, I want to show y'all so y'all can see. Because I had to Google I had to Google the map, because I'm like, yo, I know there's more map than this, right? I really had to Google it, because I'm like, what's going on here? Hold up, let me see. All right, there we go. Let me share my screen so y'all can see. So that's the full map once everything's opened up. That's a big map, guys. That's a pretty big map. Let's be real here. That's a big map. I think it's as big as I could be wrong, but it looked like it's just maybe 10% smaller than RDR2's map, but it's a chunky map. And these two areas up here, these were the areas that I was frequenting for like the first like 5-6 hours of the game. These were like the only two areas, and I'm like, nah, I know the map is bigger than this, because then when I like kind of like broke the cursor down in the game, all of this was white out. So I'm like, yo, I know we could be able to go here, right? Like, I'm not like, right? Like, we can go here, right? So I'm like second guessing myself, because I'm like, I know we can go here. I know we can. I thought so. So then when I did a mission and it had me drive to Iron Mike's camp. Iron Mike's camp is right here. I'm like, oh, okay. So the game doesn't want to. The game does a good job of not throwing so much at you at once. Because especially with open world games, I'm an explorer type. I'm the type, I like to look at everything. I like to, sometimes I just be staring at buildings and looking at the textures and looking at, the different types of graffiti and the bodies, and like I'm searching every drawer. Like, I'm that type of person, especially when it comes to open world games. And I'm the type where I'll be level one here in the beginning area, and I'll be all the way down here somewhere just off of exploring. Like, no bull. So it definitely does a good job of kind of not forcing you, but it does a good job of like reeling you in. Like, hey, look, hold on, slow down. Let's do this first, then we'll get here. Like, it does a good job of doing that, and I like that, because like I said, it doesn't throw too much map at you too quickly, because then it becomes it starts to feel overwhelming. Like in GTA, you can drive, you could go to the end of the map in GTA 5 at the beginning of the game. Like, you just drive around, it kind of it kind of paces you, which again I like. So in terms of like again, these two areas, because I just got here, so I can't really speak to this area yet. But with these two areas, especially this wood area, this area right here is very. This matter of fact, this top area of the map definitely feels very Horizon Zero Dawnish, because in Horizon Zero Dawn you had the wood area, then you had like the desert area, but in this wood area, I feel like the game, it like you feel. How do I explain it? I'm trying to explain it in the best way possible. I feel like you feel the most immersed in this area. Just because it's so woods heavy, so many trees, so much grass, so much vegetation and things like that, you know, all types of springs and waterfalls, and like I felt myself like really immersed in this area just because, you know, especially at night, you know, going through the woods and you hearing the different zombies and you know, all that stuff. I really enjoyed being in this area. Not saying that this area is bad, but I feel like the immersion, I got the most enjoyment out of my immersion in this area. And I can't speak to the rest of the map yet because I haven't got into that yet. But this area looks like it's going to be a pretty good area too. Because it's actually a mixture of both. It's a lot of trees, a lot of vegetation, but it's also still got that desert feel, and it's right on the water, which is pretty cool. And it's a bunch of mountains and stuff like that. So I really like that a lot. So the map, like I said, and even with these two top areas, that feels like a lot of map. You know, like it doesn't feel like, you don't feel like you're confined. You know, like these two areas within themselves, it's a lot of map. That's a lot of map. Like, no bullshit. Especially if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot, because even like when I'm driving through these two areas, I'm still finding places that I didn't go to yet. Where like, oh, I didn't know these buildings were here. I didn't know this was here. What's this? What's that? Like, you know, I still find myself stopping while I'm driving on my bike. And I'm like, oh, what's this? You know, I'm trying to see what this is. So the map is great. The world is great. And I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about, because a lot of people, I don't know. Like, I see people saying that the game is it doesn't look beautiful, but yo, real quick, shout out to Arya. Arya, the real one. Shout out to Arya Stark. Yo, she is an MVP. Moving on. I see people talking about, like how, like, you know, the game isn't beautiful or whatever. Listen, I can only speak to my experiences. I'm not saying that anybody else's experience or what they feel or think is wrong. I can only speak to me. The game beautiful, dog. The game is beautiful. Especially what really amazes me is the dynamic weather. Because in a game this big and this open and, you know, this vast, with all these moving parts in it, you know, you would think that, you know, something like dynamic weather, that's pretty tough to do. I think so, at least. Especially when you have all these moving parts, and if you do have dynamic weather, it isn't as detailed or it isn't as realistic. Yo, listen, especially when it's raining, thunderstorms, and yo, listen, y'all about to see. This is something that I captured. This ain't like no random. This is something I captured. What was it, like 2 days ago? Where like the weather, like I hope it fixes. Why is it so pixelated like that? Where like you see like the, you know, like the trees moving. Right, you're gonna see like little thunder. You're about to see thunder in the sky. There you go. Look at that. Boom. You see all the trees moving, everything moving. So I'm like, I'm like, because I had just got finished doing some Freaker Nest or whatever, and when I seen this, I was like, oh, yo, this is like, oh shit, like it was really, and they really did a good job of like again, I'm all about immersion. When it comes to games, immersion is very important to me. The immersion that I felt, especially with the thunder, the rain, and the music playing, yo, speaking of which, the music is dope. Like, the music lets you know when it's playing like that, it letting you know that there's some danger around, so pay attention. You know, it's letting you know, hey, look, you might want to look over your shoulder, bro, because there might be some danger around. So, you know, like that spooky music, and I don't know, I'm all about immersion, guys. When it comes to my games, I gotta feel immersed, and I'm digging it. The weather looks great, and again, it's dynamic weather. So 1 minute it'll be sunny, and then it'll start raining, you know, and it'll get real windy, or it'll be overcast. And they did a good job on that weather, man. No lie. I'm being real. They did it. Then like the gore. Hold up, we gotta play that back. You see the gore? Yo, the gore is great. So in terms of the game, again, the game. I think the game world looks great. Personally speaking, you feel me? I think the game world looks great. The weather effects are great. The worlds themselves, like the world itself, like, you know, just looking at random things like, you know, the street, the tracks, the barn and stuff like that. You really have to pay attention, because, you know, at a glance, you might not pick up on it, because you really have to be paying attention and looking. And then even like, you know, again, fighting the freakers, like I felt like even like fighting enemies, I found myself meleeing a lot in this game. I mean, I use the guns, but I found myself meleeing a lot, and I found myself trying to be much more stealthy. Even when it came to like going up against the freakers and stuff like that, I find myself crouch walking a lot. I find myself trying to be stealthy. I feel like because it's for me, at least, I feel like that's a better experience. I mean, sometimes I do run out just guns blazing, but trying to be stealthy, killing the zombies and stuff like that, or the freakers, trying to kill the freakers and killing, like, different types of bandit camp enemies and stuff like that. I found myself trying to be more stealthy and using, like, the melee weapons. But once I upgraded Tucker's camp, which is where you get, like, some of the better weapons, once I upgraded that, I actually was letting that thing sing. I let that chopper sing for real. The graphics are mad, but I like the game. It's fun once you start to level up and upgrade the bike. I'm afraid to ride a motorbike. I once looked at a girl on a bicycle and crashed into a cinder block column at a grocery store. I was pedaling and crashed doing 3 miles per hour cruising. Oh no. Garuda, you can't be out here rubbernecking, bruh. Evening chat. Yo, Cyber, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. So yeah, the world, I like the world. I think the world is beautiful. The missions themselves, that's something that I kind of wish was kind of structured a little bit better. Just because I find myself, it's not like just one storyline. There's multiple storylines. And, like, when you finish a mission for a specific storyline, you won't do that next mission in the storyline. You'll do an entirely different mission. Nah, Timbo not here, Cyber, you good. You'll do, like, an entirely different mission that's a part of an entirely different storyline. So I found myself, like, trying to stick to one storyline at a time until, like, I have to fulfill some type of requirement, because certain things, you do have to fulfill certain requirements. Like, sometimes you do have to do a mission for a different storyline to be able to do the storyline that you may mainly be focusing on. But it's a ton of different storylines within the, like, it's a ton of different storylines. Like, even like the stuff with Sarah and the flashbacks, it's like, all of that is not one storyline. It's multiple storylines, and the storyline the storyline will connect to this, and then it'll connect to that, and I found myself it kind of was hard to follow until I had to kind of just, what I started doing was I was focusing on one storyline at a time until I couldn't do that, until I couldn't progress any further in that storyline. Then I would move to the next, and that's kind of how I was doing it, just to kind of keep everything kind of centered. because I swear, like, you'll do one mission and then Tucker will call you and say, hey, look, I got a whole nother story mission for you to do. It's like, what? You kind of throwing me off. Wait, I'm going to do these missions over here. And then it's like, you got to go all the way over there. So yeah, that's something that's a negative that I'm kind of like, I kind of wish the storylines were structured just a little bit more a little bit more clear and concise. Not, obviously. What else? In terms of first impressions, I just had it off the top of my head. Oh, the flashback missions. Honestly speaking, the flashback missions are some of the most fun missions, in my opinion. Like, the reason why I say this is because I feel like the flashback missions is where they do a lot of the story building, where it's building out the characters. And especially, I love the dynamic. I swear, I love the dynamic between Sarah and Deacon. It's really dope. I'm about to play this for y'all right now. This dope little scene where Deacon's getting his ass whooped. And this is when he first met Sarah. Like, this ain't nothing. He getting his ass whooped by some rednecks or whatever. And straight ride or die. She digging his bag. Boom. She pull out that thing. Pull out that thing on him. Like, I like that. That was pretty dope. Like, there's a lot of good character building in the flashback missions that I like. I really, really like it.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, she pulled that thing out. She pulled that thing out.
No. Oh, my God.
Hey.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I don't even know. I just was looking in your bag. And
Mind you, they just met, and she pulling out that thing. I put it up on Twitter, man. That's a ride or die. You got to put that ring on it,
I've
man.
never done anything like that before.
It's okay.
I saw it in your bag, and I tried to call the police, but there were
what we're
no
gonna do?
bars,
We're gonna
no
do?
reception.
I'm gonna wait right here until your guy comes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've never done anything.
I like the dynamic between them, man. It's really dope because it's like, he the bad boy, she's the sweet girl. Like, it's I like it. And again, the screenshots. This is a different flashback mission. This was a really dope mission too, because this flashback, the flashback missions actually tie into what Deacon has to do in the present day. Because this specific flashback mission, she was teaching him about different flowers and what they did. And what was this? The lavender flower, I think it was. The lavender, whatever she called it. And this flower, the purple one, this was something that he could use to help heal Boozer and his burn wounds. So you did the flashback mission, and then when it went back to present day, you had to go and search for this flower by the lake and get it to help Boozer. The flashback missions served their purpose, man. And again, I'm a fan of Deacon and Sarah, man. I'm a real fan of their lovey-doveyness and their relationship and the character building, man. I'm so far, again, I'm only like 10 hours in the game. I know there's so much more that I have to, uncover. I haven't even gotten to the wedding yet, where people were mad that she said, ride me like you ride your motorcycle. Which we gonna touch on that in a second. But I'm a big fan of, because especially when it comes to games with stories, I'm someone where I like action. I love action when it comes to games. Do not get that twisted. I love my action. But I really do also love the character building as well, especially when it's good character building. When it's good character building, I appreciate that. And I love that, because that stuff you also have to take into account when it comes to playing story-driven games. And as much as, people may not want to admit it, this is a story-driven game. Like, this game is story first. You feel me? And it's very evident the more you play the game. It's very story-driven, which I can appreciate, because it does, it meshes that open worldness and that, that aspect of it when it comes to, open world games, which it has the usual checkbox when it comes to open world games. Like, you got the fetch quest and the you know, the repetitive missions and stuff like that, and you know, searching for this, search for that. You know, it checks those boxes off, but it still doesn't take away from the story, or it doesn't put the story on a back burner. At least I don't feel. And again, the dynamic between Sarah and Deacon are great. It really is great. And in terms of Deacon and Boozer, it's good as well, because you can tell like they're really good friends. But you know, Boozer starts going crazy and all these different things. So I like it. And another reason why I like the flashback missions, because they want you, they do a good job of making you want to know more about Sarah and Deacon. You want to know what happened to her. Like, it kind of, you know, it pulls you in, and once you want to know what happened to her. You want to know if she's still alive or not. If you want to know, you know, this dude O'Brien, this is the guy that was supposed to save her, and he didn't, and you find out that he did, but then she still died supposedly, but then, you know, potentially she could still be alive because they didn't go to the camp that they were supposed to. And it's just, you want to know more. You want to know more. So I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, this was another thing. So, okay. So, you know, that's that. What does the gun list look like? The gun list, I think I have a video. So essentially what the gun list is, okay, so this was me while I was fighting a bear. And the bear, I was using an AK, or what I would like to call an AK. It might not be an AK, but that's what we gonna call it. So, you know, like so, you know, essentially, so the way the gun list, potentially how it is so far, this is your primary, this is your sidearm, this is your special, this is your melee, this is your health, these are your grenades, these are your traps like mines and stuff like that, and these are your distraction tools. So essentially you can have, I'm not sure if you can hold more than one primary and sidearm and stuff like that. I think you can only hold one of each. But the guns, like this is an old video. I have way better guns now. Like this one, I have I forgot what it's called. It's like a ACR type of gun. It's like a military spec type of assault rifle that I have for here. Here I got the sawed-off shotgun, and then for my specialist I got a sniper rifle. So, and then here surprisingly the durability for the melee weapons aren't that, you know, they last pretty long. Not super long, but they last long enough where, you know, you don't feel like you're not getting your money's worth out of it, because, you know, essentially you can upgrade your melee weapons, but you can also use scrap to continue to repair your melee weapons. Now, as you repair it, the more you repair it, the more scrap it's going to cost. But I feel like that's a good added, especially when you have something like this right here. This thing that I had took this from a Ripper, and this thing was knocking fools out in like 2 hits. I was like, yo, I gotta keep this thing on me. So I kept that around for quite a bit, and was upgrading it a lot, to the point where like it was costing me like almost 10 scrap to repair, but I was like, it's worth it. But the guns are like, you know, it's standard stuff that you would see in guns. Like, again, like I said, I'm still early because I know there's 6 camps. And I'm only at the 3rd one. So I know that there's probably like way better like army military spec guns that you can get. But from Tucker's camp, which has the best guns right now, it's got the, you know, AKs, it's got your pistols, shotguns, snipers, and then it's got this LMG that I'm trying to get. But the LMG, you gotta get her camp to trust level 3, which is like mad hard. So I'm kind of tight right now because I really want that thing. Because, man, if I got that LMG, man, I will most definitely let that chopper sing. Believe that. But the guns is pretty standard stuff. And you know, I was fighting this video. I was fighting a bear, and it was fun. Like, the bear fight was fun. And I'm playing on hard, by the way. Like, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, which is hard. And I was fighting this bear because this is actually a part of the story mission, because you're trying to save this girl. Her name is Lisa. You try to save her and take her back to Tucker's camp. And when you get to your bike, it's this bear near your bike, and you got to kill this fool. Because, my thinking was, I'm just going to get on the bike and ride off. They're like, nah, you can't get on that bike, bruh. You got to kill the bear first. So, help the bear. I got to get that as a soundboard clip anyway. So, the bear fight was pretty cool. Like, he ran off, and I'm like, where did he go? And he ran, like, all the way around. I don't know if he was trying to juke me or what, but that wasn't happening. So, the barrel right there, obviously. I got confused. Right here, I had got confused, and he caught me because I was going to run around the cinder block thing, but then I was like, no, let me turn the other way. But he caught me by the time I did that. I was like, all right, you know what? We see another fuel tank right here. Come on, stupid. Nah. Boom. It's dead. You got to get that bear meat. Pause. So, that was really fun. That was really fun to do. What's it say? What does the gun list look like? Okay, AK, nice. All I need is a revolver. Is that a cricket paddle? Holy crap, that looks crazy. Yeah, it's a fun. It really is a fun game. It really is a fun game. Really. Hey, Titanfall in the building. Big shout out to Titanfall coming through. So, in that regard, it is really fun, really cool. So, like I said, I'm still like pretty early in the game. I still got a ton of time left that I got to put into the game. But from what I've played so far, I really am enjoying it. There obviously are negatives. Like I said, the storylines can be pretty confusing because it doesn't stick to one storyline. The skills, I kind of got confused in the skill tree in a little bit in the beginning, because I was feeding stuff like so essentially when you first start the game, you want to focus solely on survival. I didn't do that. I was focusing on the range because the handling of the guns is definitely off in the beginning, and it's more sluggish than even Last of Us. It's definitely a sluggish feel to it, where you definitely want to be a ways away from the enemy before you start shooting, because it can kind of, it's got some weight to it. So that's why I was upgrading the range tree, because I was like, I want to have better precision, be able to move better and stuff while I'm, shooting people or whatever. But I made a mistake, and I was like, I should have upgraded the survival tree first and like went that route, because a lot of those skills you're gonna need later in the game, or they're gonna help you more with different missions and help you do specific things, whatever the case may be. And it just, the survival is definitely a better route. Even stamina, like when you get to like so they have these things called Nero checkpoints, where when you power up the Nero checkpoint, you're able to get into the Nero base, and you get to inject yourself with some Nero toxin stuff that upgrades you, and you get a choice to upgrade either health, stamina, or focus. I highly suggest stamina, because when it comes to rolling and hitting enemies and running away and stuff like that, you're going to want your stamina to be up there. Because there was a couple times where, like, I'm roaming around at night, and I accidentally run into a horde, and I'm not prepared to fight the horde yet. And I'm trying to run away, and I can't, because I ain't got enough stamina. So you want to make sure that you upgrade your stamina and focus on that, for sure. I'm almost done beating TW3. Then I will play Days Gone. How was the melee? The melee is good. The melee is fun. I enjoy the melee a lot. Titanfall, I actually find myself doing melee more than shooting, just because I'm kind of taking a much more stealthy approach. So I'm definitely meleeing a lot more, and the melee's fun. It kind of homes in. Like, what I do is, like, I'll roll and then melee, because, like, sometimes the zombies, the freakers are smart. They'll juke you, the freakers of juking, when you try to melee, they'll kind of like step back, do a step back, and then they'll smack you. But you gotta roll real quick and then like smack them again with the melee. I like the melee. I like it a lot. The freaker nest is pretty straightforward. You know, the nest, you'll know when it's a nest because they'll mark it on the map. Once you get close to it, it'll be red, and then, you know, you throw a firebomb and they'll come, like, you know, 4 or 5 zombies will come out, you kill them, and then, like, you know, that's it, you take out the nest. Pretty straightforward. But that's pretty much kind of like my impressions. You know, essentially the game is great. Like, you know, I do enjoy it. If I had to put a first impressions initial score to it so far, it's an 8. It's definitely an 8 out of 10 so far for me personally. Because, you know, there are things that can be fixed, and there are things that can be, you know, improved upon. But some of the things that were complaints for some reviewers, I kind of didn't really see that as an issue for me, at least, or I didn't see it at all. I know there was this one guy, he wasn't a reviewer, but he said like some wild, crazy stuff. I know I quote tweeted him too, because, like, you know, when it comes to opinions, I feel like opinions are, I don't think people do a good job of either explaining themselves, or they don't do a good job of formulating an opinion that's cohesive, that's you know, something that you would follow, something that you would be like, oh yeah, you know, I like, you know, something where, like, you know, if someone, you can tell when you're formulating your opinion in a good way, because most of the time, you know, if you're talking to someone that's, you know, also educated, or someone that's, you know, that's mature, they can disagree, but they can also come from a place of understanding where it's like, oh, I understand what you're saying, cool, you know, whatever. You don't like the game, that's cool, I enjoy it, but, you know, you don't like it, so cool, whatever, and move on. But, you know, then you get, you know, you get people like this where, you know, their opinions aren't, their opinions come from a place of ignorance. And I get it, you know, this game isn't for everybody. Everybody isn't going to like every PlayStation exclusive. I get that. Or, you know, also zombie fatigue and all that. I understand that wholeheartedly. You feel me? I'm surprised even for myself, just because, you know, I've had zombie fatigue for, you know, quite a while. That I'm even like, you know, I'm really into this. So, you know, but, you know, it had this guy, he wrote underneath my video, because, you know, when the game first started, when the game first released, you know, I released this because, you know, like I said, the waterfall, the vegetation, this is the first area that I was showing you from Powerplex. There was this area, this is that area. So, you know, I was showing just a quick video. It kind of blew up. I'm surprised it blew up like how it did, but, you know, it blew up, whatever. So then the guy, you know, this guy, all-in-one gamer, beautiful indeed, but boring as fuck. Sorry. It looked great at E3, but the final product didn't reach my expectations. Waiting for a sale. What? You know, like, I had to read this like 2 or 3 times, because, you know, in this beginning portion, he's speaking as if he's played the game and wasn't happy with it. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I had, you know, had he not have put this last part, I wouldn't have said anything. Cause I would have been like, all right, cool, he doesn't like the game, whatever, like, you know, whatever, you know, I'm not gonna argue your opinion, because that's your opinion. I swear, guys, had this last part not been put in the game, put in his response, I swear I wouldn't have quote tweeted him, but I had to, cause I'm like, bro, wait, your statement doesn't make sense. How is it boring and did not live up to your expectations if you haven't picked the game up yet? Guys, if you follow this channel, if you watch When Persona Speaks, if you watch Mog and Friends podcast, if you watch whatever, you know that we've had this conversation a numerous of times where there are people in the community whose opinions are based upon not their own opinions, that their opinions aren't coming from a place of experience. This is one of those times. This is one of those times where it doesn't meet to your expectations, and it's beautiful, but it's boring and all these different things. But you're waiting for a sale. What? Things like that don't make sense to me, because I'm like, if you don't like a game, you don't like a game, right? But if you don't like a game that you've never played, that doesn't make any sense. If a game is bad and you've never played it, what sense does that make, ladies and gentlemen? Not once on this channel have I ever in my life bashed a game that I've never played. Never. Nor am I in people's comments and mentions talking about this game is trash and that game is trash. Of course not. Now, am I going to laugh at some Metacritic scores? Of course. Of course. I'm going to laugh at that. That's going to always happen. So, feel how you feel. But I say this all the time. What I or what other people think should never hinder or dampen your experience. You feel me? If you enjoy a game, you enjoy a game. Regardless of what I say, what this person say, what that person. If you enjoy the game, then you enjoy the game. Same thing applies here when it comes to Days Gone. The reviews, it's sitting at a 72 Metacritic. Do I follow reviews? Do reviews determine my purchases when it comes to games? No, not at all. But I know there's a demographic of people that use this site and use these numbers and things like that to bolster their ego, or to tell them what to and not to buy. I personally think that's not fair. Because, Days Gone I feel like Days Gone deserves a chance. Personally. I feel like it does. Now, there's a difference between someone on the fence about a game and then looking at this and say, hey, look, you know what? I'm on the fence about this game. It's a 72. I'm already undecided. I'll wait on a sale. That's different. That's different. If someone said that, cool, fine. That's different. But this is a place of ignorance. It's a place of ignorance, guys. Don't be this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be this guy. Now, I just wanted to touch on that because I was looking at that. I'm like, man, like, what are you talking about, my fans? Like, you're not making no sense. Like, what are you talking about? Days Gone still selling good. I want to punch that guy. Yo, Barry, you're a fool. I want to punch that guy in the face. I would do a podcast, but I just like to make gameplay on my channel and game with the community. That's what's up, Guru. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yo, Baltimore in the building. Baltimore, what's up? What's up? What's up with you, bro? Almighty Spartan. Boring. He clearly didn't play it. Yo, the Almighty. Listen, bro. This is what I'm saying, man. Like, you can really tell if people played this game or not. Because, again, it's not going to be the best game in the world. It's not. But it's better than what people are letting it, what people are letting on to be. I mean, yo, just look at, like when I'm seeing all this, like, okay, not this one. Days Gone, 6.5, 20 hours in, Days Gone is an ugly, miserable experience. Days Gone review, 5 out of 10. What is happening to gamers? Days Gone's biggest problem is that it's a PlayStation. Wait, what? Yo, what? Yo, again, I laugh at these things, and this is why I laugh at certain game journalism, because you have to laugh. Days Gone's biggest problem is that it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Yo, this is a troll article to the max, bruh. Yo, this is nothing but a troll article, because that doesn't even make sense. Days Gone demands your submission to the content treadmill. Guys, 1.5, guys. Days Gone is a parody of big budget video games. Days Gone up to here, blah blah blah, whatever. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is a bad review score. The world's gone mad. Which I agree with this. Even though this is an opinion piece, that is true. A 7 out of 10 is not a bad score. Not in the slightest. That means that the game is average. A bad score is a 6 out of 10, a 5 out of 10, 4 out of, those are bad scores. When shit's in the red, that's when it's a bad score. And still, Days Gone dominates the UK charts, which, no surprise there. Days Gone, the open world zombie adventure game we've all been waiting for. 5. Oh, he put a 5. Damn, he put a 5 out of 5. I'm surprised at that. But when you're looking at some of these reviews, I can't help but laugh because I'm looking at them and I'm like, what you're saying and what I'm playing don't match. I'm being so honest, guys. And then this ain't no damage control. People are entitled to their own opinions, just like I'm entitled to critique said opinion. A lot of the things that's being said, though, I'm not seeing it. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm not seeing it. Now, there's been numerous articles that come up where there's the topic of open world fatigue, where a lot of open world games fall prey to the same things, the same fetch quest, collection quests, all these different things, they all kind of fall within that same realm. But, I have to make this argument. Red Dead. I have to, because if I don't, I'm going to ask this question, ladies and gentlemen. Why does video keep playing, man? Let's get out of here. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a 97 Metacritic score. A lot of what you do in Red Dead Redemption 2, and by the way, I played the game, I beat the story, all that stuff, blah, 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 whatever. That horse, the micromanager on that horse is miles worse than the motorcycle, in my opinion. The missions, the structure, again, that structure pretty much the same as Days Gone. It's having you go all over the place. The world is big. I would even argue that the world in Red Dead Redemption 2 is much more empty than Days Gone, because that was a complaint that Days Gone's world feels empty. I'm still asking where. I'm like, I have not seen that yet, but I have seen that in Red Dead Redemption 2. That world feels empty when you out on the dusty trail with your horse. That world feels empty as hell. In a lot of areas. Go back and play that game, ladies and gentlemen. The story, Red Dead story is pretty good. It was pretty decent. The story, I feel more drawn to Deacon and Sarah though than I do Marston and what's his name, Arthur and old boy Duchess and them. It was, I did like Duchess and Arthur and them as characters. Mind you, Red Dead Redemption 2 was my very first Red Dead. I never played RDR1. None of them Red Dead games, I never played them. But, this is a perfect example of, people are, I see articles where people say, open world games, people are getting open world fatigue. But then I look at scores like this and ask, where's the fatigue? But then when you look at Days Gone, it's open world fatigue, zombie fatigue, all these different things. But I don't see that same energy when it comes to other open world games. Preferably Red Dead Redemption 2. Where is the open world fatigue here, ladies and gentlemen? And this game's long. This game is long. People are saying they had a hard time. 60 hours is too much for the game, blah, 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 for Days Gone. But this Red Dead ain't no 20-hour, 10-hour game. This game like 40, 50 hours, man. And we talking just going straight through the story. This game's long. But I don't see that same open world fatigue here that I'm seeing for Days Gone. Now again, Days Gone, it ain't perfect, not the slightest. But come on, can we keep the same energy here, ladies and gentlemen? Is that allowed? Can we keep the same? Can we keep the same energy? I need the same energy here. Now, are open world games fatigue? Like, are we getting that type of fatigue? Me personally, I'm not. Just because, I play a lot of RPGs, JRPGs. Like, the shit you doing in Days Gone and Red Dead, man, that's pebbles compared to the stuff JRPGs we having you do, man. Trust and believe. Like, you be in them open worlds in RPGs forever. So I guess because I come from that background, and I've been playing, RPGs and open world games for decades, for years. So, I don't really necessarily feel the fatigue myself. But I can understand how someone that isn't used to playing these types of games. It's the same, but see, it's the same argument. See, and this goes back to Sekiro and that argument. Remember how, there was a small demographic of gamers, people saying that Sekiro should be easier, Sekiro should have an easy mode. And my question is why? Also, so more people so it's accessible to more people, and they were using handicapped people and all this bullshit. I'm like, listen. Don't pull handicapped people into this, because first off, that's disrespectful. Okay? Don't try to use handicapped people as your scapegoat for why you suck at a game. You feel me? Like, don't use handicapped people. Like, that's some real lowball sucker shit. Second of all, I said this on Mug and Friends like a couple episodes ago. I said this. I said, when it comes to something you want to get good at, what do? You practice, right? People's excuses are, oh, well, I have a life, I'm an adult, blah, blah, blah. That's not that's nobody's issue but your own. Nobody cares about that. Nobody. I don't care. The developer doesn't care. You clearly don't care. Like, no one cares. People say the fatigue shit when they don't have the money to buy whatever game. That whole fatigue excuse is nonsense, in my opinion. I agree, Barry. I agree. It's nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. How are you fatigued? What are you fatigued off of? You not finished. These people aren't finishing the games anyway. Go look at some of these open world games, man. People aren't finishing the games. You keep buying the game, but you're not finishing it. Why do you keep buying the game if you fatigue? And again, back to Sekiro. The reason why Sekiro was getting this type of attention with the difficulty stuff was because it was a little bit more mainstream. It had more eyes on it, so you got newer people trying to pick it up and play. Listen, man, it's like you going to the park with your baseball and your bat, and people trying to tell you how you should use your no. This is my baseball and bat. Go get your own, and I take my shit home. You feel me? The same thing applies here, man. Like, you gotta get good. You gotta get good, and it sucks to hear that, but you do. In the case of Days Gone, I personally don't feel any fatigue. Again, like I said, the game is great. The game is fun. The game is entertaining. But this whole open world fatigue and the zombie fatigue I kind of get, but even in that regard, a lot of people were praising World War Z just a week ago. And that's a lot less fleshed out than this. And people were praising that game. Oh my God, World War Z is so great. You doing a lot less in World War Z than you're doing here. I don't get it. The community's not keeping the same energy. Open world where? Open world fatigue where, guys? What What do y'all want? What do we want as gamers when it comes to games? Because honestly, in this day and age, I mean, I know what I want, but I don't know what the community is expecting from developers these days. I don't. I constantly see people say, I want something new. What? Like, what new do you want? I don't get it. What's that? What is that something new? I see that said a lot on social media where, like, oh, I want something new, something refreshing. What? What is that you want? What is it? Like, what is it? Because I don't know. Developers clearly don't know because they keep putting out games that y'all don't like, y'all don't want. So you gotta help me out here, guys. What is it that you want? What is it that people want? But for those that are on the fence about Days Gone, I honestly, and this is just an honest opinion, this is like me being as brutally honest as possible. If you're on the fence, I say wait on a sale. Just wait on a sale. If you're interested in the game, pick it up. If you're on the fence, wait on the sale. That's the best advice I can give you. Because, I feel like it's a game that, I can explain and talk about till I'm blue in the face. But I really feel like it's a game you have to play. I feel like you can't just watch it and be like, oh, it's just killing zombies. Because it really isn't. It's a lot more than that. It really is a lot more than that. And there's layers to the game. And again, and this is the part that kills me, man, when it comes to like story. People always talking about, oh, well, story-driven games, story games are so great, blah, blah, blah. Story games are still alive and well, blah, blah, blah. One, they not completing these story-driven games, but they always talking about how alive and well they are. So you're a hypocrite in that regard. And two, you say in these story-driven games are alive and well and stuff like that, but it's not like when I'm playing a story-driven game, I'm looking for that immersion. Like I'm immersing myself. Like I put myself in the character's shoes. I put myself in that world. I'm really trying to mold my experience and open my mind to the experience that the game is trying to give me, because I feel like that's the best way you'll be able to know if the story is good or not. Like same thing with Spider-Man. I mean, I'm a Spider-Man fanboy. I'm gonna keep it real with you, but Spider-Man is a perfect example of like making you feel like the hero, which it did a good job of doing. God of War, you felt like you were on that journey with Atreus and Kratos. You felt that. You feel me? Horizon Zero Dawn, you felt her pain of wanting to know who she was, because at the core of Horizon Zero Dawn, what's her name? Oh my God, I forgot Shorty's name. At her core, she wanted to know who she was. She wanted to know where she came from. Putting yourself in that mind space to be able to interpret that in such a way is important, because storytelling is all about interpretation. You have to be able to understand, decipher, and interpret what's being told to you. That's the only way you'll be able to give a proper opinion on the story being told, if it was good or not. Like, did they do a good job of making you feel like you're in a character, or did they do a good job of making you feel for the character? You felt for these characters. You felt for Kratos. You felt for Horizon, Aloy. That was her name, Aloy. Thank God. You felt for Aloy. You enjoyed that journey. You felt for Parker. And honestly, for right now, I feel for Deacon. Because when you see the Sarah Deacon flashback missions, you can't help but feel sorry for him. And you feel sad. Like, you really do feel sad. Especially the more you see the side missions and like that glare, that little glossy glare, that sunshiny shit that it has, like almost like they're in heaven or some shit. Like it's that real sunshiny real bright flashbacks and stuff like that. You feel for him. You do. And I love that aspect of it. Aloy had that giggle when she started to sprint. Real quick, PS5 thoughts. So I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, Barry? I forget. I was on the Jay Barry show. We had a council reunion episode, really fun episode, chopping it up with the fellas. And we kind of talked about the specs and stuff like that of the PlayStation 5. I know some news came out this week where PS5 pretty much where PS5 is it's gonna be, so, and this is Sony saying that PS5 will release more than likely release after April 2020. So, you know, we talking maybe summer or even the holiday release, where I'm like, all right, whatever. But we had there was a portion of the topics where we were talking about price, and price, you know, if the PlayStation 5 was $500, would you pay for it? I said yes. And this is why. All you have to do is look at PlayStation's track record this generation. Look at the PS4 track record this generation. Just look at it. Like, it's confidence, you feel me? And, you know, people get mad. I always find it funny because people get mad when you like, you know, when you show such confidence in a company, because they like to call you a fanboy or corporate slave, all this other stuff. It's like, listen, I'm confident in Sony, or I'm confident that PlayStation 5 will deliver the same, if not better, experiences. No, not the same, better. The better experiences next gen than they have this gen, and they've been killing it this gen. I'm confident in that. So if PlayStation was to hit me with a, hey, look, you know, we trying to bring you the best experiences possible. In order for us to do that, yeah, we gonna throw this $500 console at you, man. We need you, you know, have faith in us. Have faith that we'll deliver. Yo, listen, you got it. And I think the vast majority of people that are saying that they won't will still do it, because that's how this works. That's how this works, guys. People say, hey, look, this is bad, don't do this, or don't support this, but they themselves still end up supporting it. Like, guys, let's be real here. Who here is really not going to buy it? Who here isn't anticipating the PS5? Who ain't anticipating them games for the PS5? Come on, guys. Let's be real here. If they threw a $500 console, looking at the specs and stuff like that, you telling me you're not picking it up? I'm picking it up. I ain't going to sit here and lie to you, man. I ain't going to front. It's getting picked up. Now, the specs, yo, H-Dog Gaming, what's good, bro? Appreciate you coming through. Yo, shout out to everybody here right now. Hold up. Big round of applause to all of you guys. I really do appreciate all of you that are here chopping it up with me right now. With the PlayStation 5, we don't know everything that's going on with it yet. We just got the specs like 2-3 weeks ago. And then even that's still, like, you know, we still got to kind of decipher that and get more information on that. But based off what we're getting so far with that, it looks like it's going to be a beast. Now, couple that with the exclusives. Couple that with the exclusives that are coming out. Come on, guys. Come on. So if the PS5 is $500, I'm paying for it. It hands down. If it's $400, even better. It's, you know, I'll buy two if it's $400. But, you know, $500 just a day one. Now, is that necessarily? Now, obviously, people like to make the comparison of, oh, well, you know, Xbox was $500. If Xbox was $500, you wouldn't buy it. No, I'm not buying no Anaconda for $500, because look at their track record this gen. It's the same thing like going to a bank. Okay, so imagine you go to a bank, right? You say, hey, you know, you sit down with the investment banker or the banker person, and you say, hey, look, you know, I need a $50,000 loan so that I can close out on a house, right? Do you think the bank is just gonna hand you that 50K? No. Hell no. They're gonna go into their computer. Okay, so we see that you have been late on all your credit card payments for the past 5 years, and you have an outstanding balance of $12,324. Why should we give you this loan? You have not shown us that you will be able to pay us back on our investment, because a loan from a bank is them investing in you. You know that, right? That's what a loan is. They're investing in you. Are you going to invest in something that won't deliver on its investment? I certainly won't. And I can bet my bottom dollar that everyone here won't either. Not saying that people can't change and consoles can't change and stuff like that. Of course not. Of course. We want that. We want the change. But we're just speaking what certain people can and can't get away with. You're not going to get that $50,000 loan if you're late on all your credit card payments and you got an outstanding balance of X amount of dollars and you're constantly in debt and you're not paying your bills on time and all. Who's going to give you a loan? Same thing applies here with Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation's got good credit right now, man. Xbox got to pay their debt. Xbox got to clean up that debt, pay them bills. You feel me? Get back in good standing. Get that credit score up. You know, right now they sitting in the 5s. You know, we got to get them in like the 7s. You feel me? PlayStation in the 8s right now. They PlayStation credit score like 825. Oh boy. So that's that. But yeah, I'm excited for PS5. But I'm actually happy that PS5 isn't coming out this year, because it gives me more time with the PS4. Because I feel like the PS4 has a lot more life in it. It's got a lot more time. It's still got plenty more games to come. So I'm happy. I'm happy that the PS5 isn't coming out until 2020. I'm happy, honestly. Because again, it's a lot more life. We still got games to play on this console, guys. I get a loan in the military. I did not pay them back. The IRS take my money from all my tax returns. There you go. You got to pay that debt back, man. Come on now, Garuda. You got to get that in order, man. But are you guys excited for the PS5? Are you guys picking it up day one? If the PS5 was $500 day one, would you guys pick it up? And be honest. Be honest. If you wouldn't pick it up, you know, I respect that. You know, that's your decision. You know, if you would, you know, definitely let it be known. But yeah, man, PS5. It's not too much we can really say or talk about because again, it's too early. But whenever it does come out, it's a day one. That's all I'm saying, man. Whenever it comes out, it's a day one. $400, $500. It's getting bought either way. So yeah, you know, that's all I'm saying about that, guys. But yeah, that's my Days Gone impressions. Like I said, based off first impressions so far, Days Gone is definitely an 8 out of 10. I will more than likely give a full review of the game once I'm done with it, you know, kind of just to see if that 8 will remain at 8 or get higher or lower based off the rest of the game, which, you know, I'm definitely going to be playing throughout the week and weekend and whatnot. But yeah, guys, One Persona Speaks, episode 20, what's it, 27? Yeah, 27. Yeah, PS5 2020. I'm excited. PS got that good credit. Facts. It's a day zero for me, dog. Exactly, Ace Dog. It's a day zero, man. Soon as it go up for pre-order on Amazon, I'm actually going, you know, I'm going to do what I did with the PS4. Cause at the launch of PS4, I had bought 2. I had bought one from GameStop and I bought one from Amazon and I flipped one of them. I'm going to do the same thing here. You know, buy one from Amazon, buy one from GameStop. Real time, I may buy one from Best Buy as well, but we'll see how the demand is looking and flip them. I keep one for myself, like I always do. So, yeah, that's that. Ladies and gentlemen, always keep the same energy, please. Play games for enjoyment, not acceptance. Your experiences is what matters most. No one else's experience is more important than your experience. And it's okay to have an opinion, but make sure your opinion comes from a place of experience. What else I want to say? That's pretty much it, man. When Persona Speaks, episode 27. Real dope episode. I enjoy it. Persona, I think people need to do their own research. You can tell people to get the game or not get the game. People need to do their research, just like buying food or a car. Yeah. I do feel like people do need to do their own research when it comes to what they buy with anything, really. But I think with games, I really feel like because there are certain areas where reviews do matter. One of those areas are electronics, and what I mean by electronics, like if you're buying headphones or if you're buying I just bought a home entertainment system. I was reading different reviews of that. If you buying like when I was buying the Astro C4 controller on my Scuff or whatever, I hit up Bari and I was looking at different reviews to kind of get thoughts on that. There's certain aspect, if you're buying like a computer or buying like computer parts and stuff like that, I feel like that's where reviews do matter, and they'll always matter. But I feel video games themselves, I feel like video games is one of the few mediums where, the few medias where I feel like the consumer has to experience it. I feel like the consumer has to experience the game to formulate their own opinion. Now, are reviewers bad? No, I'm not saying that, because a review is someone else's opinion. So I can't really say that their opinion is bad, but I also can't look at their opinion. And I'm speaking for me personally. I can't look at their opinion and use that as a means for me buying a game. And that only applies to gaming. That doesn't really apply to, like I said, to electronics, TVs, and stuff like that. So that's that. But that's my opinion, though. You feel me? So people may feel differently. So yeah, even cars. I feel like with cars, you can't really do reviews for that. I feel like a car you have to test drive yourself, because someone may not like how this turns or it rides, but you may. I think a car is probably outside of gaming, I think a car is probably one of the most personal experiences you can have. Like, because that's your car, that's your baby. You feel me? You have, it's all based off preference of you, how you like it. You feel me? So a car is definitely one where like I wouldn't look at a review for a car. I would go test drive the car myself and decide. But that's me. I don't know. But yeah, guys, new Call of Duty maps came out. I'm about to go play some COD and kill some people. Only in Call of Duty, guys. In Call of Duty. That definitely can be taken out of context. I'm going to play Call of Duty and get some kills in COD and Call of Duty. But yeah, I definitely do appreciate all of you guys for coming through. Shout out to Bari, shout out to Garuda, shout out to the Almighty Spartan, H-Dog, Titanfall Princess, OBJ the Dawn, Cyber Dragon, El Matador. I appreciate you guys coming through, man, chopping it up with me, man. Also, to the lurkers, really appreciate you guys as well. Definitely appreciate you guys. Persona Preach. If you get in the car, the only way to see if you like it is to try it out. Yeah, that's definitely true. You can only like the car if you try it out and test drive it, man. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all, man. We about to stop the stream here, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.